Welcome back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's greatest show, according to scientists. We did not say that. Scientists did. If anyone would like to help us out by donating, you can click the Acast supporter link in the description of this episode and every episode. You can donate any amount you want, and all the donations will go back into the podcast, into the equipment, and so on and so forth. We want to do loads of things. We have loads of ideas, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, again, the link is in the description. You can donate however amount you want. Over to the episode.
Yeah, that's what we do for our guests.
Yeah, any other international guests, we will provide the helicopter.
Yeah. We won't have sugar, but we will get you a helicopter.
Oh yeah, there's no sugar, but I don't use sugar, so it's all right.
Yeah. Good.
Don't worry about it. Go on, drive on with the tea. There's no.
Enjoy it. Make as much noise as you possibly can.
You're having a biscuit, Evan.
It's the best way to do this.
No, or grand thanks.
Right,
do you want one, Andy? Do you want a biscuit?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Welcome back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's most noisy podcast. Thanks to
Evan,
our secret guest here, who's
he's secret producer.
Probably gonna. Oh, he got well done. Managed to get around without being seen.
You saw the tiniest little bit of him there.
Did yeah. We're back anyway. It's been a couple of weeks, I think, since our last episode. If you haven't subscribed, press that red button below, and it will help feed Stevie. Stevie needs
food.
You're starving.
Yeah.
And we need food for Stevie, so please hit that subscribe button. It's free, and Stevie gets food, and we can get him shelter too.
Food.
So we're joined this week by Andy Power, who's our first guest, who you flew over just for the podcast.
International. We're going international now.
Yeah.
Getting
from where is it you are? Where are you based?
I'm living in a place called Hayling Island. It's just off the south coast of England. Small little island. A bridge from the mainland over near Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And is that a small island? Is it like?
Yeah, it's small. I don't know what the population is. It's small, but they're building a lot of new houses there at the moment.
Yeah.
Now.
What's it like? Is it like peaceful there? Like
very quiet.
Yeah.
Very community spirited.
Yeah.
I love the. When I went there first, we drove down from London.
Yeah.
And I always think of this. We pulled up, so all the furniture was gone in, and the wife had to go get something. So she drove off down the road, and I just realised she had the keys. So I started shouting in the car, shouting and waving.
Yeah.
So she sees me in the mirror and she stops. And then suddenly I hear this Irish accent saying, "Where have you come from?" And I looked across the road. There was this bloke across the road, Dominic, became great friends. But Dominic was from Wexford. But he shouted across the road to me.
Yeah.
And he said, "Where'd you come from?" I said, "London." "No, where have you come from at home?" he said. I said, "Tipperary." He said, "I'm from Wexford."
No
and you know Irish people. Yeah. Come on in.
Lovely.
Mrs. was putting the kettle on, and I was inside drinking tea inside the house.
So that was when you just got there.
That was, I went in there an hour.
That is
lovely.
An hour. It's funny. Dominic's living on the island for. Dominic is living on the island for years and years.
Yeah.
But I went in and had a cup of tea. But Dominic has. The type Dominic is, they're really friendly family, and they make you one of them,
Yeah.
And within, I'd say, 6 months, we knew more people in 6 months on the island than we did in the 13 year that we lived in Southfields in London.
That's mad.
That's cool.
I often thought about it. The other time, you'd know more people in London just going into the pub talking to them.
Brilliant.
But you'd never kind of have much association. But the difference was, I always say that, knew more people in 6 months. And what I liked about it was, because the island has no town, it's just village, it's all little kind of village. When you walk into the village, walking back, someone's doing something in the garden, and you're chatting.
Yeah.
You know that it's just like here. And that's what I like about it.
It is really interesting, like you're saying that, because like on paper, if you aren't from this planet, right, and you heard there was these areas where people all lived on top of each other, and there was areas where people lived spread out in fields, you would assume the ones where people were on top of each other were more closer.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, but so you were driving a truck like for Hovas, how does that work on the island? Just drive around the island, or you go onto the mainland, or what?
No, I was working out of Southampton.
Okay.
So you're a truck driver, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I was working out of Southampton. I gave about 12 years with him there. But what it was when I was in London, I was in the buildings for years and years, doing different things, driving like dump trucks and stuff. And I worked for a Tipperary company for 12 years from Banshee, Avondale Construction.
Okay.
Curden, Joe Curden is his name, was his name. But I worked for them for about 12 years. But over the years, I was on the buildings for a long time. But then I decided to get back out and go back into driving because I was driving when I was here in Ireland. I was always driving. But I thought I'd go back into driving again. But I'd been driving for DHL in London, a 7.5 ton truck delivering. What we used to do, it was National Grid, but you know, the gas board.
Yeah.
So if there was a gas explosion, they'd send a van out. But I'd have a lorry with all the extra equipment on it.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
So then I would go out to wherever the gas explosion was, and I'd have connections and stuff in the lorry that they'd carry so much in the van. But I'd have the lorry full of
Stuff.
Even all the stuff to board off the areas and everything like that. But I told them I was thinking I was moving down the country. But they said the bloke that was the manager there knew the manager for DHL in Southampton that done the logistics for Rank Hovis. So he told me go in to see him. So I moved down, but then I started working for a few agencies on and off till something came up. Then they rang me one day and told me to come in on that January after Christmas. I came in the January, and my job then was mostly I was bagged flour. I deliver all over the country bagged flour. But then I moved up to tankers, and then I was just driving tankers all the time.
Lovely.
So then I was all over the country. I used to do a lot of places like Cornwall, North Yorkshire, mostly places like that. I'd be away a few days at a time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the longest you've spent away, like in one trek?
Well, the most I used to do was I might do. At one stage, I used to, when they were stuck in the mill in Wellingborough, I'd go to Wellingborough for 3 days.
Okay.
So then I'd stay in the lorry for the 3 days till I came back to Southampton again, 3 or 4 days.
What'd you do? Go over and back in a ferry then to the island, is it, or what? Or?
No, it's a bridge.
Oh, it's a bridge.
Over,
Grand.
It's just a bridge across.
No bother then, yeah.
And is it like, how do you find it's isolating as a truck driver being away for a few days, or do you enjoy it? Or
No, I didn't mind it. It's nice. I always think trucks in any of the countries are not, really are they for staying out all weekend.
No.
You get it gets a bit boring all the times. But I was lucky enough with DHL. They paid for the overnight parking for the truck.
Lovely.
And I paid for got my money back. And at least that way you're always parked up in the services.
That's handy,
which wasn't bad. And the thing with it is, if you go to the service and it's £25.50 for the lorry. For, we say, £27, you get a £10 meal voucher. Okay, so you always got,
So does that mean when we see like trucks like pulled up at like the junction, like 14, whatever it was, where there's like Supermax Cars and all that, have they paid to sort of park there for the night?
Yeah, when you see them parked up, I presume it's the same here. They'll charge you to park.
Ah, cool.
But I used to do a lot of. What happened was I was with them, and I ended up. I knew I needed a kidney transplant. I need a kidney transplant since '96. I was told.
Okay.
I have about 13% left of the kidney, and I've only got one because it was just my luck that they found I had a tumour on the other kidney.
Shit.
So they ended up taking out that one. But they reckon I had a better chance if they took the full kidney out.
Yeah.
So they took it out. Yeah. That gave me that chance. So it took 10 years. It was 10 years before I got the all clear on that. But the thing was, of course, then that only left me not so much in this one.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good. A lot of people say about the National Health, they complain about that. I mean, I wouldn't be around only for them.
NHS,
I would not be around only for the National Health.
Yeah.
But they done the triple heart bypass. I went in, I done that in the Hammersmith Hospital in London because that's where I was under at the time. Then they done the triple heart bypass there. And of course, then I had to give up my HGV license because of that. Yeah. And then I applied for it again. I had to go on a treadmill in the hospital, run on a treadmill in there. And to get your heart going up and then see how it settles back down again. Okay. But I got my license back again.
Class.
And then, but in the meantime, they gave me redundancy, the chance of redundancy. So I thought it's my best chance.
Grand.
Take this,
Yeah, lovely, yeah.
So they gave me the redundancy.
Yeah.
And then I applied for my license. I go back into work. So I had got a job in, the main town near me is a place called Havant, Havant.
Yeah.
But there was Well, I'd got a job there driving.
Yeah.
But just before I started, the phone rang, and it was my manager from Hovis again, DHL.
Yeah.
And the wife answered, and he asked her, did I get my license back? And she said, I did. Yeah. He said, is there any chance you come in? We're badly stuck.
Brilliant.
So here I'd been 12 years with him, made redundant.
Yeah.
Get redundancy and get the job back.
So I went, I thought, I knew the job. You know, I knew the job. Yeah. I knew everyone. Yeah. So you know what it's like when you're going to a new job. You think, it's all starting over. And I thought, you know, all right, I got to drive back into Southampton where I've only got to go 10 minutes, 15 minutes to the third job. But I went back into it.
Lovely.
And I said, what I worked out with them in there was, I done Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
Lovely.
But it was all tankers. I was just driving tankers. Yeah. But then they started, they showed me how to load the tankers myself, because I used to never load them. There was always a load or loader. So I'd load the tankers on the weekend.
Yeah.
If I went in on Friday, it would be probably loaded, and I'd go to maybe Yorkshire. Then I'd come back on Saturday. And what we used to do on, what I used to do a lot on Saturday, Sunday was the cruise ships.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was with bagged flour for the cruise ships when they come into Southampton.
So you would just deliver to the ship?
Yeah, so I drive out, so I wouldn't even drive out the dock someday. Okay. I drive down, and I spend 6 hours down here, maybe 5 hours waiting to get 2 pallets of flour.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'd have to go down to the other ship and spend another few hours down there. But we could do about 3 ships in a day. You could spend 6, 7, 8 hours just between driving around the docks, like, you know, on a Saturday and Sunday. But I used to only do the 4 days, but some Fridays I'd like do Cornwall. Yeah. And then get back, and then maybe often go to North Yorkshire after that, Yorkshire.
Yeah, yeah.
Things like that, you know, but I liked it. I liked the whole thing. But I was 18 months into it, so, and I found that one day I was trying to wind up the legs of the trailer, and I thought, bloody hell, what? I couldn't seem to get the strength to
do it.
And when I was wanting to cross the yard quick, I was getting these little niggles, and I was in Cornwall, and I was coming back. I had to come back to the yard to go to Herefordshire. It was, and the missus ran to the hospital and said to him, you know, that I was getting these pains, and I said I'd be back on Tuesday. I wouldn't be back till Tuesday. She said they might be going to QA hospital in Portsmouth that night. So I came back to work. I told him in work that I had to go. So when I was going into the hospital, I said to her, wait, I said I was getting these niggles, just getting these little stingy kind of things here. So I go in, I end up 10 days in hospital, don't I?
Shit.
Mini heart attacks I was getting, wasn't I? All the time. And the thing was, I was driving for like 3 or 4 hours up the road, you know what I mean? With no problem at all.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get out,
Put
I
pressure.
start pulling like the pipes out to connect them up to the silos. I was feeling this kind of thing.
Mini heart.
But to get me in for 10 days, because I have kidney failure, they needed to, they got to be careful and start doing other things,
course,
you know. Yeah. So then they told me that they decided to, they said what happened was the heart bypass had failed. It can happen in 1% of people.
Okay.
Would have to be me, wouldn't it? You know?
So there was no reason to health. It was just a sort of rare thing.
It was just a thing that happened, And that's what was giving me the little niggles.
Wow.
It had narrowed.
Were they able to do it? No.
Yeah, they took me in, and the only thing, they put the contrast in to do the stent in and see what it is. But that's lethal for my kidney.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely lethal.
Oh, shit.
So I was there, and the doctor was saying, I can get on okay as I am once I don't put myself under stress or anything.
Pressure,
And I said, you know, I need to drive and things like that, so it's my job. So what we done was, he said, right, he put in the smallest amount he could of the contrast to see what happened. And then when he put it in, he said, I can see your problem straight away. Your heart bypass had failed. Yeah. He said, one of them is narrowed. There's another one slightly narrowed, but it's not affecting you. So he said, I'll fix this one. But then I had, I think it was 72 hours critical then with the kidney. Yeah. And what they were giving me was like water to drink. Keep drinking water. Yeah. Keep flushing.
Yeah.
And then after 48 hours, they were taking blood tests all the time. Yeah, after 48 hours, they said, you know, it's looking kind of okay, but it was still 72 hours, so they thought it failed. But I had 18% and it dropped to 14. So I was lucky enough. It didn't actually, you know, it didn't go. So I was lucky it didn't go. But I said, I'm waiting. I'm on the transplant list. They told me last November I'm on it 700 days last November.
Yeah.
So he said he thinks between 6 to 12 months that I'll start getting offers of
good.
of kidneys, you know what I mean?
Good.
Yeah.
So it's all like in the just fingers
Back
crossed.
right as rain.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I was talking to a man there one day and he said to me, "Did you have your transplant yet?" I was in the clinic. I said, "No." He said, "You won't know how sick you are." He said, "You have the transplant.
You feel great.
You feel so good." He said.
Wow.
That's mad.
And I don't feel sick. I feel great.
I was going to say, you
look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of tiredness in that.
of
You get
course,
tired.
yeah.
It's really true, like, because a lot of people have been like tired from a very young age, could be working it, and they don't know that they're tired, low in energy, because it's like that's their baseline. But like when you get something to change that, you're like, whoa, is this what other people are feeling like?
Yeah.
Are you allowed? You're allowed to drive now. Yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
I got my license back again.
Brilliant. Thank God.
Recently, yeah. So,
What about motorbikes? No.
No, I had a couple of trikes in the last few years. Did you see them?
Yeah, look class. Yeah.
I'm looking at a few more at the moment, but the thing is, I'm moving house as well at the moment.
Wow.
I'm staying where I am, but I'm moving house just downsizing.
Yeah.
So
My
I thought I'd wait.
My first memory of you is on a big
That's
chopper.
that's about everyone's memory.
Yeah, big chopper.
Any kid in tourist has their memory.
It was this lad coming in like ZZ Top, a big beard,
No way.
big long hair, and big chopper, and a wheel
way.
a mile out in front. And it was a yellow one, a yellow
That's
chopper,
right,
I think.
yeah,
I'd say I was
yeah.
about 5, and I went, "Oh my God, what's this?" To be parked outside Harty's pub, or it could be down in Croke Street. I saw it down in Croke Street a few times.
Everybody knew that. Every kid knew that.
They did, yeah,
Every kid in tourist wanted to get on it, sitting there.
And I was always
There was a
wondering-
concert in the car park, swimming pool car park one night, and
Yeah.
I remember I think it was Bear Dickens or it was Bear or Bat one. I said his young one was mad to sit on.
Yeah, Katrina or one of them.
It wasn't Katrina. No, it was. I think Katrina is Liam's daughter.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
There was one.
Sinead.
It was Bear or something. I don't know which one it was. She was only young, but she wanted to sit on it.
Yeah,
but that
well.
was a lot. A lot of them. Yeah, I all wanted to sit on it.
Oh, where did you get the idea for the chopper? Where did all this come
I
out?
bought it in Limerick. I always wanted a chopper. There was two things. It's funny how the thing is. It's like
Easy Rider or something.
Easy Rider and Convoy.
Yeah.
You know. So I've done both of the things.
Yeah.
You know, which is nice. You know, I think.
Yeah.
I like.
But it was lively time, I'd say, was it?
Yeah, well, I've done lively.
Was there a helmet? Was there a helmet kind of?
No, there was, there was helmets then, yeah. But I always had the open faced helmet, not the
You
full.
did? Yeah.
With a pair of goggles, yeah.
Much cooler.
And
Yeah.
the beard.
Yeah, the beard down to there,
I
yeah.
was just talking about the beard yesterday. My nephew is getting married.
Yeah.
I have to mention Padraig because he's getting married next
is he?
week.
Oh,
He's getting
cool.
married to the lovely Claire Connaughton up from Roscommon.
Yeah.
But I said to him, "Do you remember the time you ran away from me?" He was coming in the gate and I went to pick him up. And he said, "Why wouldn't I?" I said, "With that beard." He said, "You frightened the life out of me." And I was only a kid. I was only 5 years of age, you know.
So it was a proper massive beard, like.
Oh yeah, it was.
What when it was it weird for you when you shaved it, like having it that long? Was it?
I took off some of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Shorter.
And then I took off another bit.
Yeah.
And eventually I took it off when I was in England then. When I was in England, because I went to England in 89, then I took it off altogether. But I grew one a few years back.
Yeah.
And I thought I looked nice. But then every time I look in the mirror, I see this grey-haired, beardy lad looking.
I was going to ask what color would it be?
Red.
Red.
Oh,
Back
red.
It was so red you'd see it a mile away.
Did you have a really young face? I could imagine the beard would make you a lot older looking. Like that's funny. Like. Yeah.
Well, like I remember you going around with another lad. There was another lad with a chopper as well, wasn't there? Which?
Stevie's father.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
No way.
Stevie's father bought the first one.
You serious? Wow.
He was the first one with a chopper around.
Yeah.
That's class.
I bought one a few weeks later.
That's class.
We bought the two of them from the road tramps in Limerick.
Yeah.
And then Skinner Mahoney out in Clonolty and Nicky Maher, they bought two choppers in Clonmel. A while after.
But going round like it was quite a sight to see, wasn't it? How far was that wheel out in front?
Oh, I just think it was 10.5 inches. The
That's
rake
mad.
on was
Yeah.
on it. Something like that. Or not 10.5 inches, about 10 foot out.
Yeah, that's mad. Jesus.
Yeah.
And what you do? Just tear around the country with this and
Yeah.
go to concerts and shit.
You go everywhere, yeah.
Was there any like were you in like a motorcycle club?
I was with
club or anything? Like?
Vikings.
Okay, all right.
Vikings motorcycle club for a few years. I enjoyed that. That was really. I think that was the highlight of my time.
What sort of activities would the club do together? Would it be like? Would you ever get asked to do security or any?
No, not so much. But we used to run a show every year.
Okay.
You know, a custom show on that.
Okay, just to show the motorcycles and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
I remember him parked outside Harty's. And I saw a picture of you, I think, parked outside the First National or somewhere like that. I seen on Facebook. Did you see that picture?
Did you see it showing up a few years ago for Movember thing?
Yeah.
That's when I started getting all the hits with that. Actually, that photo. That photo actually. One of the Irish Vikings at the club sent me a picture recently of it in Italy.
Wow.
In the clubhouse in Italy. Same photo, yeah.
That picture outside the First National in Thurles.
Yeah. And the president of the Vikings in Italy, because we became friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's showed me the picture as well. And they've invited me over to the clubhouse in.
Oh, that's cool.
At any stage. So I want to go in
the Vikings.
Tuscany, around Tuscany.
It's an international one, is it?
Yeah, they're international. They're in England. They're very big in England. They're near me in England. There's a lot of the club, different chapters of it in England. I know a lot of them around,
How did the bike, like the whole chapter thing work? Like, how do you get into, like, how do you join the club, or how does all that work when it comes to bike?
Someone will be your mentor while you're doing it. You could do it for 12 months.
Yeah.
You have to go around doing things and prove that you're into the club.
Yeah.
You have to prove to them. It's called prospecting.
Yeah.
You got to prospect with them. I done some prospecting over Christmas. I went to Guildford, to the club in Guildford, to Christmas party for a few days as well. And I got my full patch then, which is your full patch. I got in Belfast.
That's
when I was up in Belfast one weekend,
The only, you know the TV show Sons of Anarchy, like what you're talking about, there's a lot of that in it, so I'm wondering, like, was the show, because obviously a lot of time the shows are kind of bullshitty compared to
these were the real
life,
Sons of Anarchy, weren't you?
Well, that would be different, that's...
But you were talking about the prospect.
I never watched it, would you believe I've never watched it? I started the first few series because everyone kept telling me to watch it.
But from what you're saying, it does sound like it's sort of actually, like they talk about the chapters, the prospect, and all that sort of element of it, but...
You must have had right crack in Harties, did you?
Harties was a great pub. Harties was...
What's Harty? Where's that?
Harty's pub. It's what's there now?
Beside Supermax, it was called Maldives or something afterwards, or what was it called?
Blake's used to be.
Yeah.
I tell you, because it was a bikers pub when the Wires had it as well.
Yeah.
Originally, it was always.
It was a biker pub, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You could bring in your records, your own
bring
records.
Your records into James's at the time.
Well,
James had a great pub. There's great music, great sessions in there.
Well,
it was in the lounge.
Yeah, it's a fine big place as well.
Absolutely great.
Yeah, no, it's a classic place. But I remember the bikes parked outside the front of it, and
cool.
it was like it was like Sons of Anarchy in Thurles. Thurles edition, huh?
Yeah.
But and you worked then in Crokes Street. That's where I remember you.
I did.
Well, what were you doing, and what was going on?
Making the ties.
Making ties.
Yeah, got us some story. That was a great place to work. That was fun. Yeah.
Ties and coffins.
Ties and coffins. Yeah.
What did you prefer making, ties or coffins?
I was doing the ties. I used to be sanding down. They'd spray them once and you sanded them off, sanding down. Yeah. And then it was Sean McLaughlin. It was Sean McLaughlin. I went to school with Sean. Sean used to do the spraying. Yeah. You'd never see Sean. He always had the big mask on and spraying away.
Was you covered in paint? No.
Yeah. I went to see him for the mist inside.
Yeah.
What would the ties have been like?
They were all different types. Like they had a machine in there that you put in like a 2x2 in it and it cut it about 13 into the blocks. Blocks.
Yeah.
A lot of machines there. It was great load of machines all in there.
Yeah. And you were saying that was like waste wood from the coffins.
Just do something with the smaller bits and stuff.
They sent them up to Dublin then, didn't they?
They did,
Just got something to go away.
And went England with them as well.
And they're on the Late Late Show then as well.
Tiger Ties.
Were they on the Late Late Show?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the first tie show.
No way. So you had ties in the first tie show?
Yeah. My father was on the first tie show, yeah.
He was on it?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's mad.
It was on the news as well. They were doing a thing up on the RDS. I found a reel of it on the news. I put it up on
Facebook. Did you?
Oh,
yeah. So
must have a look at that.
They were selling them to crowd in England and they were selling them to a crowd in Australia, but they weren't supposed to. But they were making them under a license to a German crowd called Kelleher's. They were the ones.
Oh, they're a tie company, aren't they?
They were a tie company in Germany. So basically, we were trying to replicate that. Their factory in Ireland. So we went out to Germany and met this Kelleher family and said we'll set up the same factory in Ireland, but we'll do Ireland and England.
Whoa! So the factory here was like structure based.
That's class.
That's mental.
So that was the idea, is to try and copy it.
It was good employment there, wasn't it, with all the coffin making and everything?
Yeah, it was.
You don't make coffins now, do you?
No.
You just come in.
They come in. Crowd and Cork make them now. Kind of the biggest make. Humphrey Lynch, that's the crowd in Cork.
That's mad. Yeah. What would would you been using for a coffin? Like what's that meant?
Everything. But like literally, they were trying to do too much as well. They were going around buying trees that fell down and stuff, and trying to dry them, killing them,
getting their proper
reusing
reusing
them, and used to keep the trees across the road or something in the paddock. Do you remember that? No.
Oh, I do. The paddock across. Yeah.
To try and dry them out and then machine them down.
Yeah, that's right. I remember the paddock over there, timber in it. Yeah.
And then the trucks going around with the coffins on them. So that was a bit mad. Trying to load them up in Crooks, like it was so narrow.
Crooks was an awful place, wasn't it? To try and load any or do anything.
Yeah.
So they'd be sending lads up.
And then you built the flats in there, remember?
Yeah, after that, yeah.
Was that after the ties? It was. All the flats down the left-hand side.
Yeah.
But they went over then, didn't they? Over
a bit, yeah. They turned when the factory closed, they turned them into flats.
That's
like
smart.
basically, yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, so
good at recycling or using.
Mad thing, yeah.
Yeah. What was like Thurles like for you growing up? Like,
Thurles was great.
Yeah.
Great. What we used to have in Thurles was the biggest rivalry was the Mitchells and the Kickhams.
Was it?
Yeah. Hurling, football and soccer.
Brilliant.
Okay.
It was one of the most enjoyable times. Any device from Kickham Street or Mitchell Street will tell you.
Yeah.
They had a reunion a few years back.
I saw that.
And they had another one supposed to be in January because Eugene Dial got in touch with me, but it didn't go ahead because of COVID. But there will be another one. Hopefully I'll make it. But you know the lane across from my father's house? Cairn Road.
Oh, Cairn Road, yeah.
But they used to wall run. Do you know the houses at Cairn Court?
Yeah.
Well, that used to be a wall. There used to be the old walls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the whole way up along there. That was the Gagers field.
Okay.
Gager Ryan had the big house and the up.
Oh, that was his field. Okay, yeah.
That was Gagers field at the time. Now we used to go in there and play, but otherwise what we used to do was in the lane. There was a lamppost, a light there in the lane, and we'd put a jumper at this side.
Yeah.
That was one goal.
Yeah,
and just the turn, you know where the graveyard gate?
Yeah.
Well, imagine the wall was going up there.
Yeah.
And that was the other goals.
Fake.
And the only time we stop is if a car was coming up the lane.
Yeah.
And the whole of Mitchell Street and Kickham Street were
baiting the shite out of each other. Brilliant.
Yeah, we used to play rugby and everything.
And who'd be playing there? Who was
all the Dials and the Maguires and everything.
Crowd of them
all them, the Lucknans, the whole lot. And then there was like all us Jerry Corbett, Frankie Evans, you know.
The Lucknans were on the Mitchell Street side, were they? Lucknans, no.
The Lucknans.
Oh, the other Lucknans on Kickham Street.
No, they were in Mitchell.
Paddy
The other Lucknans were Paddy was in Lochtagala.
Yeah.
Paddy wouldn't have been down that far.
Yeah.
But we used to have that, and that wall used to run along, and then from the graveyard gate up, Shorts had a big vegetable garden.
Okay.
Because that was their house there.
Yeah.
And they had a big garden. It came right back to where Centre is.
Yeah.
Centre wasn't there at all. That was a big vegetable garden. Yeah.
That's mad. Did you find like what like do you know that like when we were growing up like you know the type of mischief we'd be getting up to and stuff? I'm curious to know like what kind of stuff would you do to get a bit of a chase or a bit of a buzz when you were younger?
Tying the fishing line on the handle of the doors.
Brilliant.
What would that do? Oh, so like they couldn't open it?
No, on the knocker.
Knock and run.
And
hide behind.
Leave the big load of fishing line and go into a house somewhere else and hide in the garden and then pull it.
But that's
and watch
smart.
him come out.
Because he had those knockers. Oh yeah.
They'd be knocking the door, but they wouldn't see the fishing line on the knocker when they come out.
Because we'd have to do it at the door. That's smart engineering there. We'd have to go up and you get nearly get caught half time because you're at the fucking door. Like, that's way smarter. Like
or going in robbing the apples in the orchard.
Yeah.
Different orchards.
God, it's different then because it would have been like if you did that now, if a kid robbed an apple now, there wouldn't be that much of a thrill because you know the farmer's not going to hit you right now. But back then you would have the fear of
fear of God.
The fear.
I tell you who had a great orchard was the nuns.
Had they? Yeah.
A great orchard. But I tell you, she died there recently, Sister Angela Ryan.
Yeah.
Sister Angela.
Yeah.
I had this thing about geraniums. I love geraniums.
Yeah.
I used to help Sister Angela
Yeah.
What
in the
are they?
greenhouse.
Sorry,
Flowers.
Okay, right, yeah.
But I used to help Sister Angela on a Saturday in the greenhouse doing the flowers.
Lovely, in the praise, isn't it?
And I always remember the geraniums.
Yeah.
And I'd call to see her every now and again. I was lucky. I seen her about 2 years back. She has died since. And we didn't have tea and biscuits in the convent with her.
Lovely.
It was lovely, like
yeah.
And she gave me a little kind of a prayer card.
Lovely.
That I keep it with me all the time. You know.
There's something very peaceful about that in around that glass house and stuff, isn't there? Yeah.
But I always remember the geranium. And now when I grow geraniums in the garden, as soon as I get the smell,
I know that smell.
She just pops up straight away. You know what I mean? That smell of geraniums.
Yeah. No, I know that smell. Yeah.
That's class.
What about school? What was school like?
What school? Oh my
Where'd
God,
you go?
school. I went to Christian Brothers.
Yeah.
With Brother O'Donnell. Did you ever hear Brother O'Donnell?
No.
Oh my God. Talk about an antichrist. We got him in 6th class. I remember when they were saying who we were going to get.
Yeah.
And we got O'Donnell. And we all went, oh my God.
Was he a lunatic?
An absolute lunatic. I mean, a lunatic.
You heard years of stories of
I always had this thing. I were there and I was there.
Yeah.
I could never work out which way I'm putting it.
Yeah.
He'd always give me the sentence to say it.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to say.
And I'd try to think, of course, I'd get it wrong.
Yeah.
Next minute, I'd get his hand across, the side of the head.
Yeah.
Or his other favourite thing was the leather belt. He'd bring you up and hold the hand up.
Yeah.
He used to always do it. But years later, we were, I was working in the British Library.
Okay, yeah.
And Mickey Dwyer out from Ballycrane happened to be working there.
Yeah.
And I met Mickey on the job, and he started talking. He said, "You remember?" He said, "School days, you were Brother O'Donnell's favourite." That's what he said to me today. He used to kill us.
Yeah.
And then he'd go mad. He'd go absolutely mad with us.
Yeah.
Then he'd rush out the door and be gone for
Ages.
5 minutes maybe. Like he might have to calm down.
Out for a smoke or something.
I don't know. Calm sit down. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a lunatic.
Did anyone ever hit any of them back or anything like
No.
that?
I went to the tech. I went to the tech after Christian Brothers. That was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flan Quigley was Flan enough. Fran was in the Christian Brothers. There was a Pilkington and a Reardon and a Miss Shannon, and they were nice. I liked the tech. It was nice when they were there.
Was the tech mixed back then?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was the tech along this street then back then, or were you in the new tech?
It was here. No, this one here.
Yeah.
With the, what's in there now? The library.
Library. Yeah. Or the council offices actually. Council offices.
Yeah. I left school about 75. My mother worked in Hayes Hotel in the laundry.
Yeah.
My sister Joan worked upstairs in the making the beds and that.
Yeah.
I went in there as a porter.
Lovely.
Gave a few years there then. I left that then. I went working in dinings for a while.
Oh, the timber crowd.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
There for a bit. And then I went to Casey's. I was in Casey's for a while. That's where I learned to drive then in Casey's.
Drive the trucks, yeah.
Yeah, I was driving. I used to do all the deliveries around town.
Yeah.
The local, the local.
Yeah. And was it a
I knew every place around town.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what place in this town, I knew every nook and cranny in the town.
Yeah.
And you know something? I was looking for a place recently. I didn't even know how to get there.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? There's so many different places in Thurles at the moment.
Of course, yeah.
You don't know
New
where they are.
places, yeah.
Yeah, and then I gave a bit of time with Ryan's
Yeah.
out in the middle road, Kevin and that.
Yeah.
And and then I done a bit for Mickey Mardy used to do the fruit up in the square.
I know
Remember
Mickey, yeah. He had a place on Croke Street as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I used to go up to Dublin once a week, take the truck up to Dublin for a month.
Do a fruit run, yeah.
Yeah, collect the fruit and bring it back. And then I was there one day, and I went to school with Robert O'Shea because remember they had that.
Yeah, I remember
They
the
had
petrol
pumps
station at the bottom of the square, yeah.
But I went. Robert asked me to come out. Would I draw like a tank of water? He was spraying.
Yeah.
And would I just pull a tank of water behind it for the sprayer for him?
Lovely.
So I said I would because I would never been in. I never hadn't done agricultural stuff.
Yeah.
But I gave a good few years with Robert. I enjoyed that. It was all around Glengool and Littleton.
Class.
But then he used to do the silage and he used to do the harvest, and everything, barley and everything. I gave a good few years. That was great. That was
brilliant.
That was a great job. Lovely, nicest family you could.
They're sound,
you could meet.
He's still going at that. He is.
Robert's still at it.
Yeah.
And they had a little dog. What was? He killed me now for it. I can't think. Junior. Junior.
That was the dog's name.
That was Jim's dog, Junior.
Yeah.
When I used to go, even like when I went to England and came back, I used to always call out to see them.
Yeah.
And if I sat in Junior's chair, he'd make sure I got off it,
Yeah.
And one day we were up. We went into Johnson's. He went into Johnson's to get bacon.
Yeah.
And I was smoking then. I said I was going to Jackie Griffin's to get a pack of the fags.
Yeah.
Of course, when I came back out to the car, Junior wouldn't let me back into the car, would he? No way. I said to Junior, I thought, bloody hell, I thought you'd know me by now.
Yeah.
No way would he let me into the car. No.
That's mad.
But Robert then got into, he got into the biggest stuff you could get tractor-wise and trailers, then like. Yeah. And Connie Lyons and them used to cut down the chassis of trucks.
Down the
tipper trucks to make trailers out,
yeah.
And I remember, because we used to take the barley and that into, it was O'Mara's then, in the square.
Oh, I remember that, the Ulster Bank car park there,
Yeah. And it used to be very narrow going up there. And once you got up to the top, They'd have their lorries in there. It's a very narrow turn, you know. Like talk about a 20-pint turn with a tractor and trailer. But of course, Robert had the biggest ones bloody going. You know, he was getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
A nightmare
with the
getting in
stuff he had. Yeah, in and out of there we used to go, and then out to Cody's had the place out, and but that turned into O'Mara's again.
Out in Ballycran, yeah.
Yeah, I gave a good few to Robert. That was great working with Robert because got to know everyone around Glengool and
all the farmers,
Littleton, and
yeah. It's weird, you know, like you're saying, like all those jobs where a lot of it's involved, like, you know, meeting the people, having that sort, like, you know, relationship with all these families, groups, people who own land and stuff like that. I think that's a big part of like the disconnected communities that's not really there anymore, is because you have a lot less of those jobs. So Evan there, he delivers blocks, and he's so like people nearly say that young people find that, like, you know, that young people just don't really communicate as much. I don't think that's necessarily true, because Evan has no problem, you know, when he's delivering blocks, he's talking to him like, you know, you would have been, or anyone would have been. I think it's a big part of it's just like, you know, there's not really, those jobs don't really exist in the same way. Like, you know, that was nearly part of the job, going up to people and
your job, you get a lot of satisfaction out of your job.
Great. Yeah, it was great. You go.
If you don't have that communication flow in jobs like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kind of need it.
I mean, there was some great houses that would feed you. You know, the best. The wires out in Littleton. The stuff from shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the feed that they used to give you.
No way.
It was absolutely amazing. Yeah.
So people would offer you for dinners and stuff like that while you're working?
When you were doing silage.
Contracting,
Okay.
They always when you were contracting for them.
Okay,
They always give you.
I've heard that sometimes you get brilliant feed, and sometimes you'd see
some places you
sometimes you'd see the pattern of the plate through the. Like
that's right. Yeah. There was Fitzgerald's up in Glengool.
Well,
they were great. We go in the night time about 9 o'clock.
Well, you'd be busted.
And the biggest floury spuds, you know them big flowery spuds? Big lump of steel.
Yeah.
He used to give us in the night. It used to be great. And other places, you know, you get early nothing like.
I used to work.
Some are brilliant.
I used to work in Walter Maloney's grocery shop in the square years ago.
Oh yeah, Walter's.
And I used to love that. Like, I used to love the chat and the crack of all the customers coming in. And the money wasn't great, but they would feed you. Like,
up for a half a pig's head. My mother sent me up for a half a pig's head and some green beans.
Did she? Yeah. Walter, it was like something out, kind of a grotesque novel. When I was a kid, I was kind of scared of the place because all these pigs looking at you. There was like decapitated heads.
And we used to go to Davy Butler's for the flag in the cider.
Did you? Yeah.
Myself, Paddy looking in, and Paddy didn't drink, but myself, Paddy, and all the boys from Born and Avon. What we used to do was, do you remember the Premier Hall was the thing then? That was the. We'd go up to Davies and buy a load of flagons of cider.
Yeah.
Go down to the back of the swimming pool. They'd spot off the back of the swimming pool.
Yeah.
And we'd drink in there on a Sunday night. They'd head up to the Premier Hall for the dance. Like,
Oh, that's funny. That's still the spot to drink. Like,
then the fight is starting the Premier Hall. You see the whole hall getting clear. There'd be a big fight inside in it. I was fighting in it.
That's
there was a lot of fighting back then. And the other thing I remember as a kid is Quinzard, outside Quinzard, the trolleys. The lads would be always sitting on the trolleys. Do you ever see that? Do you remember that, lads? Lighter. People don't lighter as much as they used to.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Like, we used to, I noticed that as well. Even like it's space from, like, I remember Supermax. We'd hang out outside Supermax and, like, you know, we'd be comfortable there because we all the lads. But then, like, the next time I'd be going in there with my parents and the lads all up there. And now I'm getting the fucking feeling of the intimidation that everyone, Supermax were barely getting any business because everyone would just hang out there all the time. Like, people were afraid to go into the shop doors because they'd have to pass. But they used young lads with dogs and everything.
They used to say at one time, what was the best way to go from the railway station to the graveyard without passing the pub in Thurles?
Oh, okay. That'd be quite difficult, I'd say.
It was quite difficult because they reckon
Is it possible?
No,
I don't think it is it?
No. This was the thing. You couldn't.
That's mad.
They used to say that because you couldn't, no matter what way you went around the town. There was a pub. But all out in pubs gone, ain't they?
Yeah, another one was, I don't know what was it, you were supposed to get out of Liberty Square and get to Dublin or get somewhere without going over a bridge or something, was it?
You know what's that one? I don't know.
Sure, it's nearly impossible to get off the train without passing two pubs. Like,
I don't know, I'd say you still couldn't get to the graveyard without.
You're right, there's still some around.
You walk through the cornfields opposite the train station.
I think there was 52 pubs in Thurles one stage.
I remember hearing that,
something like that.
Oh, it was one. I remember, wasn't there an old article someone found of Thurles being one of the top 10 most pubs in Thurles?
By population or something.
Yeah.
And the Welcome Inn, that was another one on Fire Street. I've seen
that was a great pub at the time. Yeah, you see pictures there. You see, the pictures of bikes there.
Yeah.
What we used to do at one stage was, you might remember now, it was a Guardian Angel preschool.
Yeah, I remember.
In the Ballantyne.
Yeah.
Your mother and myself started them off. Stevie's mother.
Yeah.
Sure, your mother, and she's a famous woman herself in Thurles, a biker woman.
Yeah.
What did you start
There's
off?
only one.
The Guardian Angel.
There's only one in there. There's only one, and it's Anna, ain't it?
Yeah.
There's nobody else.
That's it.
A great woman.
Unique.
Great woman altogether.
Okay.
But we started, myself and Anna and a few more, what we started doing was called poker runs.
Okay.
You get a load of bikers together and you give out cars at different checkpoints. It could be a 100-mile round or something like that. But you give a card, and at the end of the card, you won trophies for the best hand of poker. But you paid so much, but all the money went to the Guardian Angel preschool.
Brilliant.
Done that for a few years. But your mother started that. It was her idea. She started.
I remember her telling me about it.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
but she was great for things like that. Your mother, getting things and getting things going and doing it.
That's class. I always found the portrayal of you have the bikers yourself covered in tattoos, and you probably had an intimidating beard, and you see that a lot with bikers and stuff, and the leather jackets and stuff. But I always found it so cool that on paper that's sort of scary thing, but there's the amount of
charity.
I can't
work and-
imagine how much money collectively bikers have made around the world for charities.
Yeah, for different
and
things,
stuff like that.
yeah.
It's amazing.
But there's things that there's still biker things that go on like that. There recently they would have had the Easter run for Crumlin.
Oh yeah.
They do that in Templemore every year.
That's
And they do
amazing.
they do one at Christmas then as well. And it's just the amount of stuff that they get together, the amount of things that they do for people. It's mental,
And it is cool because it is funny, because in movies and stuff like that, it's the bikers are the scary guy, but they're actually doing lovely things. Still scary, but
I think there is a big variety though, depending on whether you're looking at kind of MCs or MCCs and
When I was with Ryan's, when I was with Ryan's, we used to go nearly every day. Then in the sugar factory, they used to get coal every year. The workers.
Oh, brilliant.
Because I used to go to Limerick nearly every day and load up the coal at the docks in Tedcastles in Limerick.
Lovely.
You bring it back and then you deliver to all the factory houses. Every winter it used to be. All the factory houses.
Class. And they all got free coal, for...
No, I think they got the coal
through their wages or something.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was like a ton or 2 ton of coal, it wasn't just a couple of bags. It was always a big amount of coal. But we used to go down every day and load up.
That was a great thing about the factory. Everything was real cooperative, even building the houses, and there was all schemes, and everything was just And you can't even look at it, people today, you can't really build a house, or it's just such a nightmare. But back then they were able to kind of perform miracles with feck all, and build lovely houses.
Yeah. Do you know Shannon's up in... Used to be up in...
Yeah, the garage, Billy,
remember when they used to have the garage there? Tommy, the father.
Yeah, Tommy, yeah.
Tommy was a great mechanic.
Yeah.
I remember one time, Tommy, I was in Harty's.
Yeah.
It was in the afternoon. He came in looking for me.
Yeah, well.
He said, will you come out with me for a few days to Ballingarry Mines?
Yeah.
I need
he was from Balling... Oh, no, he was
I know where Tommy was from.
He was from Ballinure, that's where he was from, yeah.
But I remember he had I think it was a Woolsey car or some of them things anyway, but there was no front seat and I had to sit in the battery in the front. He had all his stuff in it. It was a few batteries in the seat for doing things, maybe 5.
Out to Ballingarry?
Out to the mines, yeah.
Yeah, well.
And when I went out this day with him, there was a 22 RB. It's a drag line, for dredging they have in the mines for coal. It just picks up the coal and loads it on.
Yeah.
But it's called drag lines. They're all lines that works them out. But I'm not sure if it was 10 or 15 years in the same spot without ever being moved.
Wow.
And I thought, never get it
moving. You're not going to get this moving.
Never going to get this moving.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, Tommy tracked it up onto his low loader.
Lovely.
I couldn't believe it. I thought,
I bet.
And it was, I thought it was amazing.
I bet
to track it up.
Tommy used to have a kind of a contract for cleaning the river in Thurles. And
because he had a drag line.
Yeah. So I wonder, is that the yoke he used to clean the river?
I don't know if he had that sold. I'm not sure if he had that one sold. But you're right, he did have his own drag lines. But when I think of the old truck he had, I think it was an old Albion or something like that. And but when I see him putting it on that day, after 2 weeks of being under that and over it and top of it and everything, and loading it up.
Billy's like that. Billy's blind, but Billy can take apart an engine and put it back together again. Yeah, and I've seen him. He'd buy broken old cement mixers and he'd get them running again and all that.
All right, yeah.
I couldn't do that being fully sighted.
So he does that.
Yeah, but he can take apart the engines, get them all running again, and I'd be afraid to lose a finger or you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, he gets it. Yeah, he'd sell the cement mixer on and no problem to him. Yeah, he's brilliant.
It's nearly weird. It's nearly like, you know that whole thing, like when you lose one sense, apparently the other senses get heightened. Because I think why that is like not because there's a measurement of set, because you have a different type of focus or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd still be scary to get your fingers,
chopped
put
off.
into places and stuff. Can I ask about the tattoos? Are they new? Because the colour is fair fresh in them.
No, they are fresh. I'm lucky. The tattoo is always reckons in my skin.
So you've never got? Have you ever had to get have you redone them or anything?
No, but I'm getting. I can't get anything done at the moment because of the kidney.
Yeah.
Because it raises something inside my, which I didn't know till a couple of years back. It raises something.
Or something.
It's something in there. It's not antibodies, but it raises.
Okay.
The tattoo raises something in there that they want to keep down.
Okay, yeah. Something that's kicking in from the...
from healing and stuff.
But they're in great nick, aren't they?
Because it's sometimes like my yellow colour was never really good. It goes off a bit on me.
Jesus.
But I usually get a top back up again, the yellow. But these are... But the colours is good in that. They're done a few years. I got all this done in a few years back just to make the...
When did you get more... Like, when did you first get tattooed? Like, what age were you... when was that been, do you know?
In my early 20s.
Okay. So, what I was thinking about that is that, like, now tattoos are as common as socks. Like everyone.
Yeah, everybody.
But like back then, like, was it weird? Because there was a real thing then where you're not going to get a job if you have a tattoo. Did you find a bit of that? Like,
when I was 18 or 19, you wouldn't get a job if you had an earring in your ear.
Yeah.
You'd have to take it out or you wouldn't get the job. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? The way things...
Yeah, like now, it's changed a lot.
Look how many persons a person that have on their face now if they walk in.
Exactly, yeah.
No problem.
And
they're nearly hired because they have it. But like that's a mad gamble back then.
I like tattoos.
Yeah.
I like them. I like the...
Yeah,
I just like...
I love it as well. Like, I don't know, like, that's what I think is mad that, like, back then, like, someone to get a tattoo now, there's not much of a gamble. You still get a job. But, like, you're really cut. You were nearly isolated from society in a weird way.
Yeah.
Getting tattoos. But I suppose...
But you'd no bother ever getting a job. You were always busy the whole time.
I was always busy,
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. You're nearly, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's changed a lot. Like, you're nearly seen as, like, the devil for getting tattoos back in old Ireland. Like.
Hey, did you get to see any bands when you went over to London that time? Or
no, the only one that I got into a few years back, and I've seen them 3 times. I've seen them in... They've packed up now. They're a Scottish group called Runrig.
Okay.
I've seen them in the Royal Albert Hall one year.
Well, yeah.
And then I've seen them twice in the Guildhall in Portsmouth.
Brilliant, are they?
Yeah. And they were actually going since the 70s, but changed a bit.
Yeah.
But I went to see them 3 times.
Wow, that's cool. And I said it was good old scene though in London, was there?
Yeah, London was great. London was great when I was younger.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
And it was nice because you're out and I was drinking. I don't drink now.
Yeah.
So I think when you're younger and you're out going to pubs and that in London, it's a great crack. Everything is great.
What part of London were you hanging around in?
I lived in Forest Gate for a while.
Yeah.
With my Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
Near Upton Park.
Yeah.
West Ham's ground.
Lovely.
Yeah. That's why I'm a big West Ham supporter.
Yeah.
But then I moved to Earls Court with the missus.
Okay, yeah.
I was in Earls Court for a while and then we moved to Southfields, which is about 10 minutes from Wimbledon Tennis Court.
Okay, yeah.
We were there for about 13 years and then we decided to make a move.
Wow, that's cool.
Down to South Coast.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just thinking, Stevie, did you, like your parents, like being bikers and stuff, did you ever want to be a biker?
I don't know. Like, weirdly enough, I never had a big mad interest in bikes. But
really,
I think if I had to get a bike, like if I had to choose, like what kind of bikes I do, like I really love like British bikes. Like the old like war looking bikes, like Triumphs and all that. Like,
I
love the look of them. Like,
it's just the look, is it?
Yeah, and it's like I think a lot of choppers would be too noisy for me. I don't think I could put up with it. Like, being behind it all the time, like I think I'd go mad. Like,
I'll tell you who I see. You know the Bear Delaney, don't you? You know Bear.
Yeah.
Bear. But all his family followed in, didn't they? His kids.
I think
most of them.
Yeah.
Two of them has.
I'd know up to see him now. I'm trying to think now. But yeah. I just always thought it was mad.
Joe, I think, was into the bikes one day. But Bear has bikes all the time.
Yes, ma'am. Did you ever get dropped to school on the bike or anything like that?
No. Sure, like, to be fair, like my primary school was like, Jesus, like I'd walk out the door and I'd be in school. Like,
there's a lot of bikes around Torres at the moment, though, isn't there?
There is.
It's a big scene of bikes.
It is, yeah.
Torres still now.
Come here. Did you ever make any of the bikes or weld up stuff or anything?
No. I just bought them.
Yeah. The trike looks pretty cool. Do you still have that?
The trike? No, I sold it a few years back. I've been looking at a couple at the moment, but I'm moving house, so I thought I'd wait till I move to pick up another. I pick up one. But I had that one painted.
You into boats as well, did you?
Oh, I did, yeah. I had a boat, yeah. Well, yeah. I bought myself a 16, I think they call it a day boat. A small cabin on it, yeah.
Well,
I was out fishing for mackerel on it, yeah.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah, I bought it after a while after going there. I thought it'd be a nice pastime. And it was, but I was working and I didn't get much time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it was all right going down with the trailer. You could just back down the slipway and let it fly off.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
but trying to get it back on yourself again.
Nightmares.
You know, it was, and if you had someone with you, you're okay. Yeah. But otherwise it wasn't great. But I sold it after a while. But yeah, I was just out a lot in it. Where I'm living, where I used to have it was about 2.5 hours either side of high tide.
Lovely.
I could go out
Brilliant.
and back in with it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I had some great crack catching mackerel. Myself and Dominic, my neighbour Dominic, we used to go. Myself and Dominic used to be off.
That's Dominic from Wexford, is it?
Dominic from Wexford, yeah.
That's class.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't know.
You really can't go like anywhere in the world without like bumping into an Irish person. It's always like nearly that, like what you were saying, nearly that level of instant as well when you go somewhere.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, ain't it? No matter where you
go. You're there 5
minutes
minutes and you just hear someone in the background and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I was funny. This one time we were at a festival and when I was talking about that, we were literally just talking about how the country is just too small. In Ireland is just, let alone the world, Ireland's too small. And one night I was kind of arguing like, oh no, it's not like it's not what you think. There's a lot more than whatever, arguing that. And 2 seconds later, someone comes up and goes to him. This guy was like drunk, whatever. He just came up into our group and was just like, oh, where are you from, whatever. And the guy who was arguing it was just like, oh yeah, I'm from, he said like it was somewhere middle of town, somewhere in the middle of nowhere in like Meath or something like that. And he goes, oh, so your man goes, yeah, I'm from there. And then the drunk guy was like, oh, do you know this person? And before your man finished, he just started shouting, of course I don't know them. I'm not going to... And then he goes, oh, wait. No, I do, yeah. And he was after arguing for ages how the country wasn't as small as we thought. Like, and we were just like, it was just the best example. He's like, yeah, he's my neighbour. Like, it was fucking mental.
I love running into people in another country or something from it. It's just so that
that's
like,
happened.
The novelty of it.
Yeah.
We were inside.
Really mad.
I remember one time, I go to Cyprus a lot.
Yeah.
I love Cyprus.
Yeah.
But I used to deliver to British bakeries in Birmingham, and I knew the forklift driver well, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was in Cyprus, I was in this shop, and this bloke pulled up, had a chop outside, pulled up in a chopper outside, and I was talking to him about it. And next minute I heard this Brummy accent. Yeah. I know that Irish accent. I turned around and who is it, only the forklift driver?
That's right.
It was funny, isn't it, how you meet people. You know?
There was another time we were in France on holidays and do you know the Crans, Frankie Cran in the band, the musician in town? Like we would have been friends with his son or whatever. And I thought I seen him that day and I told my father, I was like, this was in the middle of nowhere in France in a little campsite thing, like middle of nowhere, like in the north of France. And I thought I seen the son and I was like, what? And I said to my father, I think they're here. And he was like, no way. We went to the pub in the little campsite later that night and my father just went up, he'd be friends with him, like, and tapped him on the shoulder, said, you're not playing here tonight. I mean, he just turned around and was like, what the fuck? You know, in the north of France, like in the middle of nowhere, like, it's mental, like. Yeah, it's weird how that stuff happens. Should we finish up now anyway? I think that was a good conversation.
That's a right good one. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you find it? Did you ever do it in like an interview or a
podcast? No.
Yeah.
Did I sound nervous?
No, it was good.
That's why you couldn't care less.
That's what I was asking. It didn't seem like it at all. It seemed like you've done this before. Like,
But there were some great characters in Tourist back then. Paddy Britt. Do you remember Paddy Britt? Did you remember Paddy? He lived across the road from us.
Well, no.
I used to call me every Sunday morning. Yeah. Young Power, he'd say, go down to get me the news of the world.
You're joking.
Yeah. Paddy'd always give you a few bob for getting the news of the world from him. Paddy's passed on now as well.
He lived across from your father's house,
just down the ones down there Fitzgibbons's.
Yeah, I know them ones. Yeah.
And you remember then just down from Fitzgibbons's TD, he was a TD, Sean Hayes.
I remember that name.
Toss Bulger, Lord of Mercy used to always walk the greyhounds.
Yeah.
Toss used to always walk his greyhounds.
Yeah.
Because
he was a TD, was he?
He was a TD, yeah. And I think he might have been retired by then.
Yeah.
But because I remember the time De Valera came to town, he came to him, he came to Sean Hayes.
Yeah.
And
did you know they made De Valera's coffin down in Croke Street?
Did they?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
How did that come to be?
It not on purpose, but they were just supplying the undertakers that did his funeral basically, and so they did a distinctive kind of a coffin. It was a square thing with this kind of thing on the side that they designed up themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So his coffin.
But my dad didn't know that until he saw it in the news. He goes, "That's our coffin."
Oh, then you reckon?
Yeah. And he's
Whoa.
Because that time Devil Era came, Sean Hayes called my grandfather, tell him to come down.
Yeah.
And Kevin Ryan's grandfather was there.
Yeah.
Finnan, that had the nursing home, do you remember?
I do. Peter Finnan, them.
He was there.
Yeah.
I think the superintendent was there as well.
Yeah.
But, because the photo turns up every now and again.
It does. Yeah. When was that? In the 60s, 70s?
It had to be
60s, I suppose. Was it?
Yeah, it must. Yeah, it'd be 60s. It was 60s. Yeah.
But there's great history around that Mitchell Street there, isn't there?
Yeah, a lot of people die to go up it, don't they?
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But the Mitchells and the Kickhams, they were the days, or the boys. There's some stories with the boys from that.
Yeah. So you're going to meet up with all them lads soon enough again.
Yeah, hopefully they'll have this sort of reunion. Yeah, it'll be nice to see them all.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, that's good. To finish up now, we're just at the hour mark, which is good. Thanks million for coming on. You flew over just for this podcast.
Brilliant.
Yeah, flew over for the podcast.
We sent a helicopter.
Yeah, that's what we do for our guests.
Yeah, any other international guests, we will provide a helicopter.
Yeah. We won't have sugar, but we will get you a helicopter.
Oh yeah, no sugar, but I don't use sugar, so it's all right.
Yeah. But Evan got sugar anyway, so thanks to Evan.
And try not to have the Gardaí having the whole place coned off for no parking outside.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that was they was special guests. They knew you were coming. Like
that makes space for the helicopter, surely.
Yeah. We do it. Good, we get a helicopter pad. Thanks million for coming on.
Oh, it's kind. Enjoyed it.
That's good.
I hope it goes all right. It was nice. It was good.
It was good. Thanks everyone for watching as well. If you're listening on Spotify, good job, fair play to you. You deserve a medal, and we will send you. Hugh will personally hand you a medal in the street if you see him. Just ask if you've been listening to this episode this way through. Hugh promises to give you a medal. Just pester him in the street for a medal.
No problem,
and he'll sort you out. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and we'll feed Stevie. Stevie needs shelter and warmth. Yeah. And we will do that with enough subscribers. So thanks everyone for watching, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Taste of strawberry medicine as it runs down my neck. I feel it draw me in, and when it settles on my mind, just know you'll find me there inside.